Cuban. That's what I hear. I hear the Latin and the Cuban, and that's why I hesitated. But it's
No,
also kind of
they're everything. They're everything. They're not. That's the problem. Is everybody tried to put them in a category, and you can't. You can't put them in a category because they're everything.
it's kind of jammy. It's a jammy.
That's that one song.
Which one? That one there, Soul?
No, I mean just what you got to listen to. You got to
I'm not
listen.
sure. Yeah,
You got to listen to them to know what they are.
I would put it in my. I would search it on my algorithm, but then it would take over.
What do you call that?
Urban Horns. Urban Horn Review. It's a soul review. It's an urban soul review.
No, it's not.
Oh, write that down. What should I call it?
Hey, got your big mouth rolling, but it's not what you say, it's what you do. Yeah.
We're live. We are live and kicking. Definition of a review movie.
Don't mess with people. Don't my phone sell, better check yourself. You been messing with people. Last year about this time, the band went to San Francisco. We had a concert on a street called Polk Street. It was a most beautiful happening. The vibes were good, the women were there. Everybody was vibing. We'd now like to share this with you with a thing called Polk Street Carnival. As a matter of fact, strike up the band. Woo! Down in San Francisco, touring with the band.
Hey, Terry.
We call them strong vibes. That's what I'm calling this.
Huh?
Got a lot to say. Sing my thoughts to the clouds. Start a brand new day. Blind, ignorant mind. So won't you and blind, and be wasting time. Blind, ignorant mind. So won't you and blind.
You went out last night and had yourself such a great time. Hung out with the boys, got drunk and made some noise. When it came time,
This music is so brave to me. But they don't give a damn. They're just making music.
Yeah, they're just making music, which I think most people do.
No, most people don't. Most people live inside a genre.
You just hear. I don't want. I'm not. I don't want to say you just hear, but most of us only hear what's crafted for the mainstream. But
Right.
there are millions, as you know, billions of bands out there that do their own thing, and they don't
Right.
really get better.
Right, but I'm saying, I'm talking about people. You know, there's a 250,000 albums that's made every year.
Absolutely.
Only
They're
one.
doing their own thing.
Only
They're not
one.
trying to get on the radio. They're just,
Right.
recording and playing and, wanting to gig. They just trying to book a Saturday night and make some money. And before their wife tells them, hang up.
Hey, Devin. That's right. No color barrier for MANDRILL. That's right. They just made. I'm talking about somebody who's on a mainstream that's got the platform, and they say
They're not mainstream though. I've never heard of them.
They
Well,
are-
I've heard of them. I've never heard of them.
they were mainstream artists. I'm gonna educate you today. You're gonna get educated today. It's gonna blow your mind.
So much. Ape is high. Let him by.
Yeah, I mean, I love the music. It's new to me.
They actually tour.
It's cool. It's like the same thing.
I'm gonna teach you, Mike. Today you're gonna learn something.
Where was I? The hairband. Yeah, one by one.
All right.
Let me get a level from just Jay.
You gotta. Am I good?
No, you're peaking. Can you bring your microphone down?
Yeah. Bring my mic down. My mic down. What about now?
That's it. I love it.
Okay, that's good.
Thank you
Like-
so much. Yep, absolutely. I can boost the rest of the way.
Okay. If you need me to come down a little lower, I will.
Yeah, a little. How about a
Midget right
Yep.
there, like that.
even better? Yep, absolutely.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, yep. Adjust mine. Where did that go? Here it is. Standing by. 65, 100. Okay. And then you sound great, J. King. And this is what we're going to play.
Okay. You ready? Mike?
Let me double check. Hold on one second. So reset everything. Yep, that's going. All right. Are we live? We are. All right. Here we go, Jay.
Okay.
Have a great show.
Thank you.
3, 2, 1.
12 minutes, right?
Yes, sir. 12.
Okay.
The J. King Show.
Good morning. good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is, make it good for you. My name is Jay King. Welcome to the Jay King Show. At KBLA Talk 1580. Today we got a good one for you. Man, I've just been listening to music, and I have so much music on my iPad. I still have a record player. I have so many albums, but I ran across a MANDRILL album, and then I went inside my iTunes, and I realized I had all of the MANDRILL album. And I started playing the music, and it blew my mind how good the music was. Even though the music was over 50 years old, the music I was listening to was fresh. It was brand new. It sounded like nothing I hadn't heard before. And then I started doing some research and found out that MANDRILL is from Bedford-Stuyvesant in Brooklyn. And as I'm listening to the music, what I realized, what made this group so special, was that they refused to live in one musical category. They played funk, but they weren't just a funk band. They played Latin rhythms, but they weren't just a Latin band. They played rock, they played jazz, they played soul, they played blues, they played Caribbean music, they played African-inspired percussions, they played psychedelia. They played orchestral passages, sometimes during the same compositions that were other musical ideologies. They were musicians, they were arrangers, they were singers, they were percussionists, they were producers, but more importantly, they were explorers. Today we're going to talk about the music of MANDRILL, music that I think is some of the most important music in the history of music that you may or may not know. My name is Jay King. I'm the president and CEO of the California Black Chamber of Commerce. I'm the leader of the band Club Nouveau, and I do radio and podcasts throughout the week. I do a show called Kings in the Morning from Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on the J King Network. You can find me on YouTube at J King Network and on Facebook at J King Network, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. On Mondays, I do a show called Politics at 97.5 FM KDEE. You can also find it on kdeefm.org. That's from 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. On Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I do a radio show on KDEE 97.5 FM. You can also find it at kdeefm.org, called Traffic Jam. Tuesday and Wednesday from 3 to 5 p.m. On Thursdays from 2 to 6 p.m., where I also host the Top 20 Independent Artist chart. And then, of course, I do this show on KBLA Talk 1580 on Sunday morning, 7 a.m., The J King Show. And you can go to KBLA.com, or you can download the iHeartRadio app and search for The J King Show. They were the sound of Brooklyn, meeting Panama, Harlem, the Caribbean, Africa, and the rapidly changing America of the 1970s. They were MANDRILL. So today I'm going to take you on our examination of MANDRILL's unique approach to music, its collective creative process, its songwriting, its ambitious production, and its position as one of the most adventurous bands of the 1970s, if not since the advent of the music industry. I'll also examine the comparison frequently made between MANDRILL and the Southern California band War, where MANDRILL, let me go back. Were mandrill and war musical opposites from opposite coasts, or were they members of the same extended family? Why did war become a major crossover attraction with 7 top 10 singles and 12 top 40 records, while mandrill earned passionate critical respect but only limited pop chart success? And how did hip hop producers rescue mandrill's deepest groove from the record bins, introducing the band to generations that were not alive when those records were first released? This is the story and examination of mandrill, the East Coast funk institution that was too progressive, too international, and perhaps too musically restless to be easily contained. So right here, Mike, I want to play Fence Walk, okay? So we'll play a few minutes of Fence Walk. I'll let you determine that as I go through this part. Okay? That you just heard was Fence Walk. That's Mandrill's best known crossover recording and one of the defining funk performances of the early 1970s. It was released on the album Composite Truth, and Fence Walk reached number 19 on the Billboard Soul chart, number 52 on the pop chart. Its companion single, Hang Loose, reached number 25 on the soul charts and 83 on the pop charts. I'm gonna go back there. Its companion single, Hang Loose, reached number 25 on the soul charts and number 83 on the pop charts. The album itself climbed to number 28 on the mainstream chart, and that was Mandrill's highest placement. It was also number 8 among the soul album. So those numbers tell us two different stories. The first story is that Mandrill was not completely unknown. This was a nationally charting band with a devoted following and albums that reached beyond small underground audiences. The second story is that the band never crossed completely into commercial mainstream. If you listen closely to Fence Walk, you can hear both Mandrill's possibilities and its commercial challenges. The record has a powerful central groove. It has a recognizable horn figure, forceful percussion, and a memorable group vocal attack. Those are the ingredients of a funk hit. But Mandrill rarely allows the groove to become predictable. The arrangement twists, stops, changes weight, and moves between different instrumental textures. The voices do not always remain in the conventional position of a single lead singer supported by backing vocalists. The horns can operate as a rhythm instrument, a melodic voice, a warning signal, or a jazz ensemble. The percussion is not simply decoration placed on top of the drums. It is part of the engine. This is music that makes the listener participate. You cannot always put Mandrill in the background and forget about it playing. The band keeps introducing a new rhythmic figure, another instrumental color, or an unexpected transition. Fence Walk is accessible by Mandrill standards, but it still carries the band's larger philosophy. The groove should move the body, but the arrangement should also challenge the mind. That combination is that combination is central to understanding the group. This is the story of music like you've never heard before. Unique, brave, adventurous. Mandrill. Welcome to music. You're tuned into the Jay King Show at KBLA Talk 1580. We're going to come right back to some good music. So, Mike, you can cut that. You can cut that down to,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a couple marks in there. I'm going to fade it back up. I'm going to put it underneath. I hear you.
So play Mandrill right here. When we come back in, there's a song called Mandrill.
I love it.
Okay. So we're going to play Mandrill, okay?
Yeah. Would you mind bringing down your microphone a little bit more, please?
What about right there?
Well, yeah, that
is
it at Unity? Is it higher than normal? Why is it seems louder than
No, let me turn maybe right here. What about now?
Well, you're peaking.
What about now?
Yeah, there.
Right there?
Yeah,
because I don't see myself peaking.
No, you're peaking all over the place.
Really? What about now?
Yeah, let's try that.
So you're peaking. I'm looking at you peaking.
I don't see a difference. Maybe
what about now?
Delay, pre-delay, post-delay.
What about now? Maybe
let's try that, Jay. I don't want to get distracted. We're good. Let's keep going.
So,
okay,
what about
12
now?
minutes. 12 minutes, good.
12 minutes?
Yep.
You ready?
I am. Anytime.
You're tuned into the Jay King Show at KBLA Talk 1580. You're tuned into KBLA Talk 1580, and you're listening to Mandrill, the group's musical declaration of identity. Let me do it again. You're tuned into KBLA Talk 1580, and my name is Jay King, and you're listening to the song Mandrill. This is the group's musical declaration of identity. Mandrill was formed in Brooklyn in 1968 by three brothers, Carlos Wilson, Lou Wilson, and Rick Wilson. The brothers were born in Panama and raised in Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn. Carlos played instruments including trombone, flute, saxophone, and guitar. Lou played trumpet and flugelhorn, while Rick contributed saxophone. All three brothers sang, all three brothers wrote, all three brothers arranged, and all three played percussion. Now, that combination is important because Mandrill did not begin with the common motto of one-star singers surrounded by supporting musicians. The Wilson brothers were instrumentalists first, but they were also vocalists, composers, and band leaders. The original group brought in other musicians who were equally important to its development and identity. Clyde Coffee Cave on keyboards, Omar Mesa on guitar, Bundy Sinas on bass, and Charlie Pedro on drums. Later personnel included bassist Frederick Fuji K. Solomon and drummer Neftali Santiago. And they would become vital to the classic recording. So Mandrill's story begins with migration. The Wilson brothers carried memories and musical impressions from Panama into one of the most culturally active communities in New York, Bedford-Stuyvesant. Bedford-Stuyvesant was surrounded by Black church music, rhythm and blues, jazz, street corner harmony, and the sound of New York radio. Brooklyn also contained major Caribbean and Latin communities. Across the bridge and through the subway system were Harlem, Spanish Harlem, Greenwich Village, Broadway, and the downtown experimental scene. A young musician could hear congas, gospel choirs, bebop, doo-wop, blues guitar, salsa, soul, and emerging funk without leaving New York City. Mandrill's music sounds like people who heard all of it and decided none of it had to be rejected. The band's Panamanian roots gave the musicians an additional perspective. Panama itself is a crossroads, connected historically to the Caribbean, Central America, Africa, Europe, and the United States. Mandrill's music would eventually become a kind of musical map of that experience. The name mandrill was also a statement. The animal is visually colorful, physically powerful, and socially communal. The group adopted that imagery as a symbol of family, color, and collective strength. Now, some people would some people would mix up a mandrill with a baboon, but mandrills have the colorful face. The males have the orange and the blue and the bold colors. And that's what they saw their group as, a mixture of all these different beautiful colors, these strong identifying colors. And they saw that that was a decision that they had to make so that they could produce some extraordinary music. It may also have placed a ceiling on the group's commercial reach. Before we start to analyze the question of what was the ceiling and why make the group named after such an animal, listen to how the band takes funk, jazz, brass percussion, and theatrical vocals and turn them into a complete musical environment. The song you're hearing right now is Ape is High. And that's from the 1972 album, Mandrill Is. The song demonstrates something that separated Mandrill from many of its contemporaries. The group arranged its records as a conversation among sections of the band. The bass and the drum established foundation, but they're not alone. Hand percussion creates another rhythmic layer. The guitar may play a hard rock figure, a clipped funk pattern, or an atmospheric texture. The keyboards can move between organ, piano, and clavinet-like attack and jazz voicings. Horns enter as a unified section and then separate into individual voices. Flute or vibraphone may suddenly soften the atmosphere before the full rhythm section returns. Mandrill's records often feel like a neighborhood in motion. One sound comes around the corner, another answers from a window. A drum pattern travels down the block, a horn section calls everyone into the street. The music is dense, but at its best, it's not crowded. Each instrument has a social role. This is one reason Mandrill's records became attractive to hip hop producers years later. A producer could find isolated horn phrases, isolated percussion breaks, or an isolated bass figure. It could find a vocal exclamation or a guitar texture. It could find an unusual transition within a single recording, and they could build a hip hop song around that. Mandrill built songs with many entrances and exits. That is different from creating a record around one unchanging loop. The group could certainly ride a groove, but Mandrill often treated the groove as the beginning of a journey rather than the final destination. The musicians were also comfortable allowing cultural influences to remain recognizable. A Latin percussion passage. It didn't have to be disguised as a conventional R&B groove. A jazz section could be allowed to sound like jazz. A hard rock guitar could remain loud and aggressive. African-inspired chants and percussion didn't have to be reduced to a background effect. The result was a music that later generations might call multicultural, hybrid, global, or genre fluid. Mandrill was practicing that. I'm sorry, let me go back. Mandrill was practicing that approach before the music business had developed convenient marketing language for it. Today, streaming services can play an artist in multiple playlists. A listener can discover an unusual band instantly through a sample, recommendation, or an online search. In 1972, record stores, radio programmers, and music publications relied heavily on category. Was Mandrill soul? Was it funk? Was it Latin rock? Was it jazz fusion? Was it progressive rock performed by Black and Latino musicians? Was it psychedelic soul? The correct answer is yes. The commercial problem was that yes was difficult to fit on a radio station format sheet. You see, yes was for all of it. Yes, it's soul. Yes, it's funk. Yes, it's Latin rock. Yes, it's jazz fusion. Yes, it's progressive rock. Yes, it's psychedelic soul. Yes, it's all of it. But where does it play? When music is categorized, where do you categorize it? This is what made Mandrill brilliant. This is what makes Mandrill important today. This is what makes this show a must. Today, after you hear this show, the next thing you must do is download every Mandrill album from the 70s. You're tuned into the J. King Show at KBLA Talk 1580. We'll be right back. So, Mike, so this is so where it's 2 minutes and stuff. That's where you can play mute. At the front of it, you can play 2 minutes of music at the beginning when I call a song out. You know what I mean? So it's just how you put the music in. Okay.
Yeah, no problem. I'm tracking you. I'm with you.
Okay.
Let me just hold on.
Next song that we're going to have, we're going to play "Hang Loose." The next song, okay. So we'll come in to "Hang Loose." How many minutes do I have here?
You have 10 minutes. 10 minutes as of now.
So I did 2 12 minutes.
They were a little short. There was one.
No, they were short because it's music. So I made them short so you can play the music. So when you put the music in there, they won't be short. The music will fill them up.
Okay, Jay. I haven't heard the music, so I don't know how. I don't know the feel yet. But I'm with you. I totally agree. I'm hesitant to play 2 minutes.
Let me just kind of give you an example of what I'm talking about, Mike.
Let me pause the recording, please. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
And I got to take a note, please.
Okay.
From what I hear and what I feel, trying to get 44 minutes and work with me on that. No problem. You don't have to worry about that. I need to work on that.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm making them short so you can have music. You know what I mean? So I'm making them short on my side. So I'm not driving you crazy on your side.
So this is short. That's okay. Because we'll make it up elsewhere.
Let me show you why I'm telling. So this is fence walk. I just want you to hear how So what I'm showing you that so it'll stay in that groove for a minute before it moves to the next thing. So I want you to get the full movement of it. So that's why I made it short. So that so I mean, and you'll figure that part out. So anyway, so I just want you to know because so the next section, "Hang Loose," is going to be the record that we listen to. Hey, cousin. Okay. All right. So "Hang Loose" is what we'll start with on this section. And you say I have 10 minutes. And you say I have 10 minutes here, right?
Yes. Yep. 10 minutes. 10 minutes is good. Thank you, Jay.
Okay. It's the J. King Show at KBLA Talk 1580, and we're talking Mandrill, one of the greatest bands that I think we don't know. And the song you just heard was Hang Loose. And what Hang Loose does, it reveals another side of Mandrill, more open, more relaxed, and really inviting to the soul and to the spirit. It really invites you in, but it still is filled with rhythmic and instrumental detail. On a lot of the Mandrill albums, the writing and arranging credits were shared by the group. The Wilson brothers remained the central leadership unit, but the classic ensemble increasingly operated as a creative collective. And that meant ideas could begin in different places. Like a song might emerge from a bass figure, or it might begin with a percussion pattern, a horn line, a guitar sound, or a keyboard sequence, or even a vocal chant. The band's multi-instrumental ability gave its members flexibility. A musician wasn't required to think only from the perspective of his main instrument. Horn players understood percussion. Percussionists understood arrangement. Singers understood the architecture of the instrumental passages. So Mandrill's best work feels assembled by musicians who are listening across the room. When the horns enter, they answer the rhythm section. When the percussion grows more complex, the bass may become simpler. When the guitar becomes distorted and forceful, another instrument may create open space. This is what I call collective arranging. Not everyone playing everything at once, but each musician knowing when to become dominant and when to support the larger picture. The method also created a lot of musical risk. Collective creativity can produce combinations that no single songwriter would have imagined. But it can also make editing a lot more difficult because every new idea feels valuable because it represents a member's contribution. Mandrill's courage was its willingness to leave many of the ideas in the final arrangement. The records sound abundant. They sound as though the band believed that the listener deserved the entire musical imagination, not just the portion that could fit inside a 3-minute radio song. This is what makes Mandrill magical. It's what makes them different. It's what makes them unique in every sense of the word. In an era where music was already vast and deep and creative. This is the era of Stevie Wonder's Talking Book and Fulfilling This. This is the era of Marvin Gaye's What's Going On and Let's Get It On. This was the era of the Jacksons growing up outside of the Motown sound. This was the era of George Benson and the Breezin' album and the In Flight album. This was the era of the 70s. And in this era, Mandrill still managed to stand out, to be different, to be creative, to be innovative. This is when War had some of its biggest hits. When we return, the making of Mandrill's records, the songwriting behind the groove, and the musical ambition that made the band brilliant but difficult to market will be discussed. Check out the music of Mandrill. You're tuned into the J. King Show at KBLA Talk 1580. We'll be right back. How long is that right there, Mike?
That was 5 minutes.
So, so so I want to use that other part for music.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So we get 2 short segments here, 4 minutes and 4 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. So, I'm gonna open up this with mango meat. Okay.
Mango.
Yes. You ready?
Yes, sir. Anytime.
Okay. It's the J. King Show at KBLA Talk 1580. And we're getting close to the end of this thing. But before we do, I want to get as much music as I can to you all. If you don't know Mandrill today, I want you to know them. If you do know Mandrill, I want you to go back and listen again. I think it's going to be even better today than it was yesterday. The song that you just heard was Mango Meat. And that's the opening track from Mandrill's 1973 album, Just Outside of Town. Production for a band like Mandrill presented a special challenge. The producer couldn't simply record a lead singer, add a rhythm section, and place background vocals around the edges. Mandrill was a living ensemble. Its identity depended on the physical interaction among drums, bass, hand percussions, guitar, keyboards, horns, voices, and instrumental effects. The studio, therefore, had to accomplish 2 things at the same time. First, it had to preserve the energy of the musicians playing collectively. Secondly, it had to create enough separation for the listener to hear the many layers. On Mango Meat, notice how the central figure is strong enough to anchor the track, even as additional elements enter. The low end feels physical. The horns provide punctuation. The vocals function partly as melody and partly as another rhythm instrument. Mandrill's production often preserves the feeling that the players are in a room reacting to one another. The performances are disciplined, but they do not feel clinically separated. This is especially significant because early 1970s recording technology imposed limits. Producers didn't have unlimited digital tracks. They didn't have instant editing or the ability to correct every note without sequence. Arrangements had to be understood before the final performance. Musicians had to balance energy and precision. Overdubbing could expand the sound, but the foundation still needed to work at the performance. Mandrill and their co-producer, Alfred V. Brown, captured the band's density without removing its danger. That word, danger, is appropriate. And oftentimes, bands that were live had a hard time capturing themselves on record. Mandrill wasn't one of those bands. The Freaky Executives out of San Francisco were the band a lot like Mandrill that you don't know about because they never were able to capture their magic on stage in a record. You're tuned into the J. King Show at KBLA Talk 1580. We'll be right back. How was that, Mike?
I'm with you. Cool. Right on. I got you. Okay.
Okay. This next song is going to be Symphonic Revolution. Okay. That's the name of the song, Symphonic Revolution.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, Mike?
All right, Jerry.
And we got 4 minutes here, right?
You can do 4. Absolutely. Boom.
Hold on. I'm waiting. It's the J. King Show at KBLA Talk 1580. I want to say thank you if you stuck through this whole ride with me. And I know we move fast on this. I know we try to get as much music as we can in here. And the last song that you just heard was Symphonic Revolution. And that comes from Mandrill's debut album, which was released in 1971. Even the title announces the band's ambition. Mandrill wasn't satisfied merely to create a dance groove. The group wanted to suggest an entire movement, a revolution in which funk could still contain orchestration, jazz, Latin rhythm, rock power, and social imagination. The debut album also contained the multi-part Peace and Love, subtitled Amani Na Mapanzi. The suite occupied a significant portion of the record and demonstrated the band's willingness to think beyond commercial recording. That willingness should be understood within the freedom of the early 1970s. Record companies were sometimes prepared to allow bands to experiment because the album market was growing. FM radio gave programmers room to play longer tracks. Rock audiences had accepted extended compositions from bands such as Santana, Traffic, Pink Floyd, and progressive rock groups. But black bands didn't always receive the same freedom of classification. A white band combining rock, jazz, and extended composition could be marketed as progressive. A black or Latino band using similar ambition might still be expected to deliver a conventional soul singer. Mandrill operated across that divide. The group could perform in front of a funk or soul audience. The group could perform in front of a funk or soul audience, a Latin rock audience, jazz listeners, and adventurous funk fans. But crossing crossing genres wasn't the same as receiving equal access to every radio format. That is one reason Mandrill's history should not be reduced to a simple question of whether the music was commercial enough. Commercial success is not determined only by music. It is influenced by promotion, radio access, touring opportunities, label priorities, press coverage, distribution, timing, and the ability of an industry to understand what is selling. Mandrill created music that could have appealed to several audiences. The difficulty was persuading each gatekeeper that the band belonged to the gatekeeper's audience. And that's what makes today so important. That's what makes this conversation so important. You are not bound by gatekeepers in this independent space. We all have the opportunity to be mandrills, to create outside of boundaries, beyond limitations, and as far as our imagination will allow us to go. As musicians, we have to once again marry ourselves to creativity and divorce ourselves from the limits put on us by an industry that knows absolutely nothing about the vibration of music. They only concern themselves with how much money you can make. My name is Jay King, and you've been tuned into the Jay King Show at KBLA Talk 1580. We'll see you next time. Go pick up Mandrill music.
Thank you, Jay. Got it. Oh, I stopped the recording.
So, Mike, I want to play you a few things because I think that once you listen to this. This is 1973. Okay.
If the world was to end tomorrow.
Now, Mike, before I play this, let me say this to you. They didn't have to do all that at the front. They could have actually made this a commercial record from right here where they're about to sing. This would have had a better chance of being a commercial hit. But did you see what they did up front? You see how beautiful that movement was? That was a minute and 38 seconds. And then watch what they do.
Darling, would we have reason to live? No flowers, no trees, just the sand on the breeze left aside there. Yeah. Would we have love to give? Yeah. And your sweet understanding.
I just want you to listen to what they did. So they could make this into a commercial record, but they choose not to. They choose to let this thing go where it's want to go, and then they come back. So when you're listening to these records, you can't listen to Mandrill like you're listening to, like you're trying to listen for a hit record. You got to listen to Mandrill like you're looking for the freedom of the vibration that music is. And if you if you listen like that, it's
I agree.
So now that the trees are in season, and the showers your flowers. Now sunshine is free. You're my everything, and forever, baby, I'll be in love with you. It's a new world of living, a new way of love and understanding. Yeah. You've got me, and I've got you. We've got a love so true.
have somebody that listens to jazz, listens to classical, listens to R&B, listen to rock, and they're going to find something in that song that make them say, "Wow, that's cool."
There you go. That's a hit.
This is called Two Sisters of Mystery. This
You're
is
you're really low, but the music's really loud. I think I can hear you.
okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yeah, if you
I
could bring
said,
so I would say, did they miss an opportunity to not be as concise when we compare them to War? So War
no,
is very, very similar, as we've already talked about. War is the same but concise. It doesn't go a minute and 80 and
well,
38 seconds.
well,
It
no,
goes
because they're
second.
not the same. So what
They're not
makes
no,
no, but what makes
they
them, but what makes
opportunity
you
to be
feel?
more commercial.
Yeah,
And I'm
they
just asking.
yeah, no, I hear you. But what they did, they chose to be totally free. Where War, and so the reason why you think and the reason why people compare them a lot is
Yeah.
because people hear the percussion.
Yep.
They hear the world beat of it. But
Yep.
when you
Yep.
when you start to dissect, what you realize is that War is creating inside the theory of what a song is. Mandrill is creating inside the theory of what freedom is. Freedom of song,
Yeah.
freedom of movement, freedom of ideas. They don't, so where War, they would get the idea, they would doom doom boom 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 doom doom boom 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 doom, and they won't let it go low, ride, duh. They keep it right in the pocket. They don't let it go outside of that. Where Mandrill would have went boom boom doom boom 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 ba doom doom ba ba doo da 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 ooh bop boom ba boom boom ba ba da dee do da do da doom ba 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 boom boom pop boom 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 boom. You know, they would have done everything. They would have let whatever it was, they would let it all be, and then come back to the groove, and not necessarily with the groove being in charge of it. War, when they created something, it was encapsulated in that. Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? It was encapsulated. It was stuck in there, and
It's almost
everything
more
was
discipline,
more,
right?
yeah, more
Yeah.
discipline, yeah. But
Or like, get right to it, cut out the extra.
yes,
That's why I think it is a jam band. I think Mandrill, at the end of the day, is an urban jam
well, the
band.
reason the reason why you can't call them a jam band, because the jam band is just playing for the sake of jamming.
Uh,
There's intention.
are they? Is
Yeah.
Mandrill?
No, there's intention in what they're doing. They intend to do that. It's not just a jam for the sake of jamming. It's not a jam for them to just go anywhere. And you know that by all the intricate movements of how things fall in and fall out. A jam band is just going ahead, straight ahead jamming. These guys are falling out. There's arrangements on top of arrangement. There's so much music theory being applied. You can't do what they do without theory. You can't make that many movements in a musical arrangement without there being some theory engaged. Where a jam band, it's a free for all. They're going for it. So,
It almost sounds like what Mandrill's doing, though.
no, that's how you are interpreting it. But when you stop to listen, what I challenge you to do is to listen to buy one of their albums and just listen to it with nothing. Video Junkie said Grateful Dead is the best example of a jam band. Yeah.
Fish.
Yeah, the Grateful Dead, they just went for it. You don't know what it was going to be. You knew what Mandrill was going to do. You knew what it was going to be, but you knew that inside the passages, going in and out of the passages, there was always going to be something flavorful, something deep, something that grabbed you and said, wow, I can't believe that they went there. I can't believe that they did that. How do they get back to this space? How do they make it back to this groove again? That's what made them special.
Well, that's what, the Dead did that, but also Fish does that. That's what jam bands do. They go and they wander, they whatever Trump calls it, and then they come back. What does Trump call it? I can't remember. Anyways, we're gonna have to get that way. And then they eventually come back. They do. They wander.
I think they're more than a jam band.
Yeah.
And
I like it.
Jana Marie said Mandrill is a classical jazz band, and I could get with that. Yeah, because of some of the passages, because of some of the musical movements.
I had a musical movement this morning. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think it's really good. But Bob Marley was also a jam band because they had jamming.
No, but that's just the title of a song. Bob Marley was a musical genius. Everything was intentional.
Yep.
He was,
No, it's all good. And I don't know if you can be wrong with music. You just do your thing. You get your band together, you play.
That's
some
true.
are trying to be hit records, some are just trying to look at just Saturday, right?
Yeah, there's no truer statement. You're right. You can't be wrong with music. It's
and some people, and sometimes even like this most recent, like Nirvana, they didn't try to be great. They didn't try to be groundbreaking. They were just playing their music, and people loved them and loved them.
They created a movement. I remember when I bought I bought the Nevermind. I bought the album. I thought Kurt was brilliant. I thought his songwriting was brilliant because how simple it was and but the statements that they made and the simplicity of how he brought it. I hate that he killed himself.
Yeah, he was just trying to put together a playlist, to take to the club to make some money to buy whatever was on the list.
Do you know who Betty Davis is?
Oh yeah,
I'm talking about the recording artist Betty Davis,
not the actress.
No, because that's who we're gonna dive into. She was a black woman who was a rock and roller, married to Miles Davis.
Oh, okay.
And she'll be the next person.
Was she the inspiration of the Kim Carnes song? Betty Davis Eyes.
I don't know. Well, I'll have to find out. That's some research. Betsy King, can you get you can get into Nirvana? Yeah, I get into music. I love one of my favorite bands is Squeeze. I discovered Squeeze on the Argy Bargy album, Pulling Muscles from Michelle. I love the Fix.
Oh, I love the Fix.
Yeah, I listen to music. I love. I'm a connoisseur of music.
Yeah, it's all good stuff, man. You can't go wrong.
Yeah. But so we'll the next one we'll do Betty Davis and I'm doing 3. These are 3 artists that I think everybody should have that probably nobody really has, but they should become household names today. Mandrill, Betty Davis, and Rodriguez. So Rodriguez would be the last. Yeah, all of them are incredible stories. Miles Davis gets cooler because of Betty Davis. He gets more stout because of Betty Davis.
Is anybody getting into Hermanos Gutierrez? You familiar
Who
with
was
them?
that?
That's a Spanish jam band. I call them a jam band. All instrumental. And they do like rock. It almost sounds like
text me the name. And I'll check them out.
Okay, yeah. Oh, everybody wants to play with them. Well, they play instrumentals only. And so everybody wants to accompany them. But yeah, I've been into them. Hermanos Gutierrez. They sound like they should be the soundtrack of a country western movie.
Wow.
Yeah, the soundtrack. Yeah, very cool.
I love interesting music. I just like interesting music that don't sound like anything else. Even as I try to work on, even for Club Nouveau, I'm trying to make sure that some of the music I make is is outside of convention.
Gutierrez.
Huh?
I can't spell Gutierrez.
Gutierrez is Gutierrez. Gutierrez.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I let Siri tell me, or somebody. Hermanos Smith brothers. It's like it's a couple of brothers. Oh yeah, good stuff. I love it.
All right. Well, we're good. Everybody good?
Yeah, looks like we're good.
I hope. Yeah.
I don't see any additional questions.
Wow, another awesome. Oh, that was you. And anybody have any questions? Anybody want to say something?
Yeah, I don't see any new ones here.
Okay. All right, so we can.
Cousin says I always learn a lot.
Hey, thank you, cousin. Check them out. Check out. Who is Video Junkie?
I believe that's our brother Tony.
Tony who?
Tony Tech. I believe so. Brother, is that true?
See if we have any.
All right, you guys. We're out of here. Thanks, Mike.
You're welcome. Thanks, Jay. I'll talk to you next week. Go USA. Yes, oh wait, did they lose? I think they lost. All right.
Did they lose?
Yeah, I think they did. 3-1. 1-3. No big deal.
Oh, Anthony, you're a Video Junkie.
1-4. Oh God, they got scored on since we've been talking about.
All right, I'll go ahead and end it here. You have a beautiful
day. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye, Jay. Thanks, Snitchy. What happened?
You're welcome.
Oh, he left. All right, take care. Bye.
Bye.